morning. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brooks. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to have fun this morning. It's going to be a little something different. Morning, Marsha. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, guys, make sure y'all share this out. We're going to have a good time this morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, y'all bear with me for a second. Let me make sure I can figure this out so you guys can see me. There you go. Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning. We're going to have a good time today. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Sheri Brooks, and welcome to Breakfast with the Brooks. And for those that don't know me, I like to dance a little bit when I'm on the show. And so welcome. We're going to get started in just a second, just trying to let a few more people come on. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday today. I'm going to turn my music off in a second before the YouTube gods kick us off. Thanks for sharing, Michonne. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, guys. Hey. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Once again, I'm Sheri Brooks. Okay, this light is killing me, this glare in my glasses, so maybe I'm going to go without my glasses. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Sheri Brooks, and I want to welcome you guys this morning to Breakfast with the Brooks. As you can see, I'm flying solo this morning. So this weekend, Glenn and I have been away for our wedding anniversary, our 21st anniversary, and I'm giving him a break today. So I'm going to be hosting the show today. So please share this out. Invite your friends. Invite those who are single, looking to get married, as well as anybody you know that's even married. Please invite them out. Please share this out. And if you are new to our channel, please make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you can get notifications. For those of you that are new to the show, just want to give you a little background on who I am and who we are. As I stated before, I'm Sheri Brooks Jr. I'm an author, speaker, relationship, and life balance coach. And my husband, Glenn, and I have an online relationship academy that's called MAPS Relationship Academy. MAPS stands for Marriages and Parenting Successfully. And if you want to learn more about that relationship academy, you can go to the website below, which is www.thecrcoach.com to learn more information about that. That's enough about that. So, hey guys, good to see y'all. Great to see everybody joining in. Okay, so over the last couple of weeks, Glenn and I have been going over topics dealing with how to pick the best partner for yourself, how to be able to find the best person for yourself, for your spouse, for your mate, for your life partner. How do you find that person? What are the things you should be looking for in that person? And a couple of things that we've talked about are that you want to be able to find a person who, when that person tells you who they are, to listen to them. And so pay attention to the signs that you see in the person. Pay attention to things that they say. Those are really good things to do when you're meeting a person. So if a person tells you they don't like kids, don't assume that you're going to change that or that they're going to change who they are over time. Another thing that Glenn talked about last week was taking a test drive. And it's not what you may be thinking. He's talking about literally taking a test drive with that person. When you ride in a car with a person for a significant amount of time, it gives you an opportunity to be able to get to know that person. You get to find out their mindset on a lot of things, get to see how they react to stressful situations. And just being in a car with a person, you get to learn about a lot about a person when you spend time with them confined in a small space. And so that was one of the tips that he shared. And so this week, I wanted to share with you guys some things from my perspective. To give you, like I said, for those of you that are new to the channel, once again, thank you for joining us and welcome to Breakfast with the Brooks. And I want to invite you to please subscribe and ring the bell. And so, for those of you that do know us, I'm going to just do a little recap real quick. Glenn and I both have been married before. I've been married twice before, and Glenn has been married once before. I got married the first time when I was 19, and then the second time in my mid 20s. And there were some things as I sit back and look at now that, well, there were a lot of things that I didn't consider at that age, but I realized when I got married, both of the previous times, I was looking at superficial things. My first relationship, number one, I was very young and immature and was not prepared for marriage at all. But I got caught up in the romance, the him bringing me flowers, him whining and dining. Well, not so much whining and dining me because we were in the military and we ain't had no money, but to that degree of whining and dining. I got caught up in all of that, the romance. It was I remember, it's funny, and I've told this story to a couple of people. I remember we were dating, we were seeing each other while we were in the military, we were in training, and he had got stationed in California before I did. And so when I got done, I flew out to California. And I remember meeting him at the airport, him meeting me when I flew in. And it was like something out of a movie. That's the only way I can describe it. I remember me seeing him at the end of the hallway and us running towards each other. And it was just like this whole movie romantic scene. And we were running towards each other. And that was what I considered love to be. I thought that, oh my God, this is it. This is the person I'm supposed to be with. But what I didn't realize was that we had not been through anything. So we hadn't had any arguments. We hadn't had any disagreements. We hadn't had life. We hadn't experienced life at all. And so we were caught up, like I said, in the romance of the relationship. We were caught up in the awe of it all. And then once we got married, I found out I was pregnant very shortly after us getting married. And then life hit. And we realized, number one, we didn't really know each other. We realized that we were not prepared for marriage at all. And the ish hit the fan. You know, life hit us and we did not know how to deal with it at all. And so, because I did not slow down, I had not had anybody sit down with me, even at that young age, and explain to me, these are things you need to be looking for in a person. These are some things that you need to, pay attention to when you meet a person, when you're dating. Even as a young person, these are things that are applicable, but nobody had ever told me these things. Nobody had ever sat me down to talk about some of these things. And so then, that marriage dissolved after about 2 years. We split up. We were separated. We didn't actually get divorced for a number of years, but we were separated after about 2 years of being together off and on. And then my second marriage, same kind of situation. We were friends to a degree, but it was a situational type thing, but we really didn't know each other. I think we both rescued each other because we both were like in a crisis stage in our lives. But we realized that we really didn't know each other. We weren't looking, he met all of the physical, you have this idea in your mind. You want, he was the 6 foot tall, the body like a supermodel, but beyond that, there were so many other things that weren't there. And even for me, there were things that, we both got caught up in the superficial and we did not look at substance. And so that relationship dissolved after time because we realized that we didn't have what we needed in each other to make that successful. And so one of the key things that I realized that when you want to get married, when you're out here dating, when you're in a relationship, one of the key things, and Glenn and I talk about this all the time, in order to have a successful relationship, you have to be able to communicate. And communicating is not me just being able to sit here and talk, but the person being able to hear me understand what it is I'm saying, them being able to respond to what I'm saying. So being able to have effective communication is essential. And oftentimes when we're dating, one mistake a lot of people do is you do things that don't really allow. I mean, you may do the whole on the phone talking, but what are you really talking about? You know, so how was your day? How was the weather? You talk a lot of times we talk about really superficial stuff and we don't really talk about things that are really important. And I think you have to be involved with a person that you can really talk to. And when I say that is that you can share your heart with this person and they really hear you. They really connect with you, that they're able to, you're able to share with them things and it doesn't go over their head, or they just like, yeah, okay, but they don't really get it. Being able to have a relationship with a person that you can really talk to, that you can share your deepest, darkest secrets with, and your hurts, your pains, your disappointments is essential. And for them to not take that stuff for granted, but for them to really get it, for them to really understand it and take the time to understand and be empathetic with you. That's essential for a successful relationship. I know for Glenn and I, when we met, number one, neither one of us were looking to date, to be with anybody at that time. We weren't looking for each other at that time. Like I said, I had been out of my second marriage. I was at a point, really, I was done with relationships. I was like, hey, I'll just be single the rest of my life, because obviously I'm not getting this right. Now, one thing I will say, I always felt in my heart that I was meant to be a wife, that I was called to be a wife, but I realized that I wasn't doing it right, that I didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, hey, I'm done. I'm not looking. If it happens, it's going to have to be God, because I'm not putting myself out there like that. And so when I say that, for me, I literally, I mean, I was pretty much walking around in sackcloth and ashes trying to ward off anybody at that point in time. And so when we met in a situation where we were actually working together and we developed a friendship. But during that time, the thing that I was really impressed with Glenn was that we were able to talk about any and everything. And he really listened to me. And I think it was the first time I'd ever been with anybody that really, truly listened to me. I mean, I would tell him things, and, a week or so later, he'd come back and be like, so how's that going? Or where are you on that? And I was like, oh, he really was listening. It might be something with my daughter or a situation I was dealing with. And he would come back and really ask about it because he really listened. So it wasn't like he was just, I wasn't the as in Charlie Brown, the teacher that womp womp womp. He really was listening to me, and God, he made me laugh. I don't know. We were talking about that this weekend. I don't know what it was about him, but there was this ability that he had, that he was able to make me laugh, and it wasn't like him being a comedian or joking, but it was a joy to talk to him. And like I said, he could hear me. He would listen to me, and I was able to listen to him, and it was like no judgment there. We were able to be open and honest with each other from the very beginning, and that has been the foundation of our relationship over the past 21 years. Is that we've always been able to talk, even though there were seasons for me. It was difficult to talk about the really hard issues because I had to learn how to do that, because I wasn't accustomed to that, because I grew up in a home that people didn't talk about stuff. They didn't talk about real issues. Everything was surface. And so when things really went, when we had challenges, it was difficult for me in the beginning to really talk about it. He would have to push me. He would prod me. He'd be like, hey, tell me what's going on. He could tell something was bothering me, and I'd be like, nah, I'm all right. But he would pull it out of me because he wanted to talk. He wanted to know what was really going on. So one thing that I would say, definitely, when you're looking for somebody, when you're looking for a mate, when you're looking for somebody to be with, one of the key things is being able to talk to them, being able to communicate, being able to have effective communication. And that's something that takes time. that piggybacks on, like he talked about last week, about taking the road trip, going on a road trip with them, taking a test drive. In that situation, that presents an opportunity for you to be able to talk to them. But also, over the course of the time that you're dating the person, have some in-depth conversation. Find out what their views are on certain things. What are their religious beliefs? What are their views on parenting? What are their, I mean, even their political views? These are topics that a lot of times we like to stay away from. But if you're potentially looking at this person as possibly being your mate, these are topics you want to talk about. You don't want to wait. You don't want to wait until after you say "I do" to find out, what their religious beliefs are. Have those conversations. Have those deep conversations. Stop talking about what's your favorite color. What do you like to eat? No, have some deep conversations. Find out, what are your financial goals? What are some things, what are your goals in life? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And more essentially, find out what is it that they value. It's essential to know what a person values. And when I talk about values, that's more than just what a person likes. A person's values are what's innate in them. Those are the things that you can tell by how they live, the things that they do, the things that they focus on, the things that they devote their time to, their energy, their money to. Those are typically the things that they value. So if a person values family time, if they value relationships, you'll see that they have healthy relationships, that they're close with their family. If somebody says they value family, but they have children, but they don't spend time with their children, that's a red flag. Because if you say that you value family, even though you and your co-parent, your ex may have some issues, that shouldn't hinder you from seeing your children. That in particular is one of my biggest pet peeves oftentimes with a lot of individuals when they are dating. You may have children and you'll get involved with a person that has children or they don't have children. But you see in the beginning that they don't really demonstrate the qualities or the value of being a father figure. And so they may have children from a previous relationship, but they're not involved with their child. And so you'll see that, but you won't even ask about it. You won't have the conversation. They're trying to find out. So why is it that you're not involved in your children's lives? Oh, y'all got co-parenting issues? Okay, so, but do you call your kids? Do you reach out to them? And I think oftentimes, a lot of men, well, I won't say a lot of men, some men will use the excuse, that the mother won't allow me. The mother won't let me do this. And I know there can be some challenging situations. I'm not going to say that that's not the case sometimes, that the mother is just being totally blocking them. But I do know that there are ways that they can get around that. That if they really want to see their children, that in most cases there's a way that they can do that. But what is a red flag for me is that if you have children and you're getting involved with them, even if you don't have children, let's say you don't have children, but they have children, if they are not making an effort to be in the lives of their child, that's a red flag if this is a person you're potentially looking at being in a relationship with. And the reason I say that's a red flag is because that shows that they don't really value that. And so if you get in a relationship with this person, you guys get married, if you have children, how involved are they really going to be? I don't know. But that would cause me to question that. And I mean, and there are things even for us as women, and because I don't want this to be one-sided at all. For men, you look at a woman, if she says that she values, she wants to be financially independent, but she's a spender. Every time you turn around, she's shopping. She got every Michael Kors purse in the world, and and not to say that you can't have nice things, but if she doesn't also have a portfolio built, she's not investing. She's not, doing other things to work towards her financial independence. Then that's not really something she values individually. So she's looking for somebody to come alongside and provide that for her. And is that really something she values, or is she just like nice things and she wants, for lack of better terms, to be taken care of? And so I think oftentimes we don't look at things that are often right in our face. It's right there in front of you. There are signs about a person when you meet them, as you get to know them, that are clear, and we overlook them. We simply overlook them. There are things, if, going out with a person, you can tell their level of patience, their level of empathy by, even when you go out, if you go to a restaurant and, maybe their meal doesn't come out correct. How do they treat the servers? Are they mean and crude toward that person? That speaks about a person's character. There are a lot of things that people do that we will ignore and say, oh, now I'm not saying if they do it once, okay, they can do it once, but I'm going to address, I'm going to be like, that really wasn't, did you have to snap at the person? But if you see a pattern that they always seem to be this way, that's a red flag. And I think a lot of times when we're single, when we're dating, we like to overlook things partially out of the fact that, we're so caught up in the moment. We're so caught up in being in this relationship with this person. And let's be honest, a lot of times we think that, well, that's not that big a deal. But if a person has a character issue, a challenge in their character in a certain area, when you're dating them, it's not going to magically go away. It's not going to disappear. And so it doesn't just go away. And so if you see that they're rude to other people, that they're snappy, that they just disregard people, what makes you think that later down the line they may not do that to you? And so I know I've said a lot. I've talked about a lot of different things. I want to hear from you guys. What are some things that, just out of what I've said today, that have stood out to you? Because I don't want to just go on and on. It's so much that I could talk about. I mean, it just really, for me as single, having been married before, there are so many lessons that I've learned. There are so many things that I personally have taken away from that. And my passion is that people don't have to go through the heartache and the pain that I went through. And it hurts me. It burdens my heart to see people make the same mistake over and over again. And that's typically what we do, because we only know what we know. And the sad thing is that oftentimes we attract the same person in a different body over and over again until we change our mindset, until we start to look at things differently. And if you keep doing things the same way that you've been doing it, you're going to keep getting the same results over and over again. And so I want to hear from you guys. Just want to look at the comments real quick. Let's see. Okay, the mutual or similar values. Mashawn, you mentioned what you said about the importance of mutual or similar values. So the reason why values are important. So if I value family and I get involved with a person that does not value family at all, their values are, maybe business, finances, whatever their values are, but family is not a value of theirs. And maybe I shouldn't use family, because family is family for me. If you're looking to get married, family needs to be a value of that person, plain and simple, for that one. So let's not use family, because that needs to be within their top 5 values. That if you're going to get married, that needs to be a value of theirs. And that's one of the thing that I've heard over and over again for singles, is that they'll be dating somebody and the person tell them, well, I don't want to get married. And you'll stay in a relationship with a person, but you want to get married. like you think that that's going to change. Now, not to say that it can't, because sometimes it does, but in most times, if a person tells you they don't want to get married, you have a decision to make at that point. Do I want to wait the next 5, 10, 15 years to see if this person ever changes their mind? Or do I want to pursue a relationship with a person that is going in the same direction that I'm going in? And so you get to make that choice. But that's one key thing, is that is a value that if you know that you want to get married, that needs to be when you guys start talking very early in your relationship. When you're discussing your values, that needs to be, you need to find out if they value family, because that's going to give you an indication on whether or not they're even thinking about marriage. Because if they don't value family, it's very unlikely that they're going to be thinking about marriage. And so let's say that they value, if you're talking about a value of, say, finances, if you value financial independence and that's not on their values, there are a lot of things that may parallel. So they may be business, or being an entrepreneur may be something they value. These are things that complement each other. And so they don't have to always be exactly the same, but they need to be similar. They need to be close enough that they will complement one another. But what you don't want is somebody who values, I'm trying to think of something that would be total opposites. If one person values quality time, they value being able to spend time, really having quality time with the person that they're with, being able to, and the other person values their alone time. You may have a problem later down the line, because if this person values being alone and you want to get married and you value quality time, that may create a challenge, because those are complete opposites. Whereas if they value, you value quality time, they value fun, those two kind of complement each other. Because quality time and fun can go together, because we can have quality time having fun, or we can have fun having quality time. Those can complement one another. But alone time and quality time are at total different ends of the spectrum. And so that's going to create some challenges along the way. And so that's what I mean. They have to be similar, or at least complement each other. They don't have to be exactly the same values, but they need to complement one another. And so let's see, anybody else? And once again, for anybody that's new, welcome, welcome, welcome to Breakfast with the Brooks. I'm Sheri Brooks, and I want to welcome you to our channel. I want to ask you to please subscribe and be sure to ring the bell so that you can get notifications. And let's see, anybody, can you say it now? Anybody got any questions about anything that I have been saying this morning? Everyone feeling clipping over it, but saying, trying to look at your comments real quick. Family. Let's see. I don't want to miss anybody. Let's see. Dana, that's correct. You can't ignore the red flags. And I think so many times we ignore things that are, blaring in our face. And we just ignore them. We ignore a lot of things that we see, because, like I said, we're caught up in the moment. We're caught up in the moment. And yes, right, physical intimacy can create problems too. Yes. Okay. And this is the question, the topic nobody wants to talk about. Physical intimacy. And I want to address this from a very practical place, that I'm going to address this. When you're dating a person, when you're trying to think clearly, you're trying to evaluate this person, you're trying to assess this person and determine whether or not they are truly a person that you could see yourself being in a relationship with for the rest of your life. You need to be clear. You need to be as focused, as clear minded as possible. And I think a lot of times as adults, um, we think that we can overshadow our emotional connection with people and still be logical. It's been proven that when you become physically intimate with a person, that there is a level of, it's almost like I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. When you become physically intimate with a person when you're dating them, there's a veil, for lack of better terms, or blinders that you will experience at that point, because there's a connection that's made. There's a true soul connection that's made when you become physically intimate with a person. And as women, let's be honest, when we open ourselves up to a person and become physically intimate with the person, at that point for us, because men and women function differently, men see sex, men do not equate sex with love. Women, we equate sex with love. It means more to us emotionally than it does for a man. A man can have a physical relationship with you and not be emotionally attached to you. But for a woman, there's an emotional attachment in most cases. Now, there are some women that can have physical relationships without that, but in most cases, for women, there's an emotional attachment to it. Once you cross over to that place where that emotional attachment is there, that's the point where it's very hard for you to see those red flags. It's very hard for you to call stuff out because there's an attachment now. There, in the spiritual realm, it's called a soul tie. So there's an attachment. And so at that point, it's very hard for you to see clearly. It's very hard for you to recognize things that normally you would recognize and be able to back up and pull away from the relationship. Also, as a woman, once I've given of myself to you at that point, oh, we in this now. This is it. I done gave you, because at this point I done gave you all of me. So where you going? You ain't going nowhere. This is it. Let's be honest. I've given you the I'm trying to the golden trophy. I've given you whatever you want to call it. I've given it all to you. So it's like we in this now. And this is where, the lady, women, we ready to burn stuff up and cut stuff up. And you talking about you leaving now. It's like, oh, you ain't leaving now. I done gave you everything. You're not going nowhere. And so to save yourself that heartache, I think that it's advisable to wait as long as possible before you become physically intimate with a person, so you really know who you're dealing with. That you really know that this is the person that you're supposed to be with. I mean, a lot of times in today's culture, in our society, because our society is very sexually driven. Everything is about physical, the physical attraction is everywhere you look is sexual images. And so that drives a lot of us. But when you're looking at finding a partner, a person that you're looking at spending the rest of your life, let me share you, sex is not, should not be the foundation of your relationship. Sex is not going to sustain your relationship. And there are going to be seasons in your relationship where there ain't going to be no sex. Now, we just celebrated 21 years. Love my husband dearly. He is the love of my life. But we old. And there are times, because life happens, your body's change as you get older. If sex is the foundation of your relationship, you're gonna be sadly disappointed as you guys get older. When you're young, it's like rabbits, but that's not gonna always be the case. I'm sorry to I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's not gonna be the case always. And so I don't even think that should come into the equation if possible. Now, let me disclaimer, we did not date and not have sex. Let me just be honest. We did have sex when we were dating, but we realized that it was clouding our vision, and we stopped for periods so that we could see clearly, so that we could have that clarity, so that we could regain that. Because we realized that we needed to be able to see clear. So I'm not the person that's talking from I ain't never, we didn't have sex. That's not me. That wasn't my experience. We didn't go our whole dating experience and not have sex. That wasn't the case. But I can honestly say I know that it was much harder for me to address issues, to deal with things that I saw once we had sex, because of that emotional attachment that was there. It was hard. It was very hard to deal with those issues. I happened to be in a perfect community at that time. I was in a community of individuals that focused on truth, that focused on accountability, that made it easier for me to be able to deal with that. And so that's another thing. When you are dating, don't try to do this thing by yourself. You need to be surrounded by like-minded people that are trying to do this the right way, that are trying to have functional relationships. You need to be in a community with other individuals that been there, done that, that have had successful relationships, that are having successful relationships, as well as other singles who are trying to get there, so that you can have some accountability. Now, I'm not saying you need somebody that's going to be, overshadowing you. That's not what accountability is. And I think a lot of times we get that twisted. Accountability is having people that you can say, okay, this is my goal. This is where I'm trying to go. And they can check it, hey, and you let them know, hey, this is where I am. And I'm having some challenges in this area. Can y'all help me? That's what we do in the Master Relationship Academy, is we have created a community where individuals can have accountability, where they can share where they are in a non-judgment zone. Ain't nobody throwing nobody under the bus. Ain't nobody saying, you wrong. If you're having sex, that's on you. We're going to try to help you work through that and help you to be able to have an open mind. We're going to try to help you to be able to still see what's really going on in spite of that, even though you may be in that place. But we're all adults. Ain't nobody saying, well, you shouldn't be doing this. We're adults, but we're here to support one another. We're here to be able to help everybody, see things differently. I think one thing that we as adults often do, we harp on this. I'm an adult. I'm a grown apple woman. I'm a grown apple man. But the thing that you forget is that you can only see from one perspective. When you're in a community with individuals where there's some accountability, people can see your blind spot. People can see what you can't see. So when you date and y'all off, just you and your boo, ain't nobody in your relationship, because I don't want nobody knowing my business. Nobody else can see what you can't see, because there are going to be things that you don't notice because you caught up. There are going to be things that you aren't going to see because you care about this person, and so there are some things that are going to slide by you. But if you allow yourself to be in a community and allow, the two of you to be involved around other people, they can see something. Hey, did you notice how he, when he said that to you, that wasn't quite, or when she shouldn't have responded that way. But if you stay over in this little corner, just the two of you don't allow anybody to see the things that you might miss. And you'll look up 5 years later and be like, this joker is crazy. And your friend's like, I could have told you that. But you ain't asked. Or you didn't allow us in to be able to share that with you. And so it's essential to be in a community. And so, like I said, I wanted to, just come on today. This was different for me, being able to share with you by myself. But I hope you guys got something. I hope this has been good. Trying to see if you guys got any questions. I hope I haven't been just rambling too much. But like I said, I don't know if I'm just really passionate about individuals getting their relationships right. I did it wrong for so long, and I just don't want to see anybody go through the stuff that I went through. If there's any way that we can help you, if you're in a relationship or looking to be in a relationship and you're looking for a community where you can have some accountability, where you can be with some folks that are real, that's going to tell you the truth in love, um, and it's going to help hold you accountable and help provide you the support that you need as you on this journey. I want to invite you to schedule a discovery session with us. Like I said, go to the website below, www.thecrcoach.com. C as in constant, R as in relationship coach, where you can schedule a free discovery session and we can see if possibly, we're fit for you and if you are a fit for the Master Relationship Academy. We have several groups. We have a group for couples. We have a group for parents, a group for singles. Then we have an individual group for men and for women. We have women's groups as well. And so, if you're looking to grow your relationship, if you're looking to take your relationship to the next level, and like I said, even if you're in a place where you're not in a relationship right now, but you're looking to one day get in a relationship again, if you've been divorced and you want to figure out, okay, so how do I do this different? I've been married before, it didn't work out. What can I do differently? What can I do differently to take my relationship to the next level so that I can grow and have a successful relationship? Glenn and I aren't perfect, but we've figured some things out and we've been able to have a successful relationship. Look who just popped.
Hey, what's up?
You don't have to turn it.
What's going on? I just got back up in the room. You kicked me out early. I told on you. I don't know if anybody. Y'all, did Sheri drop some fire in here today or what, y'all? Let me tell y'all something right now. I know y'all are wrapping up. I was on the chat, baby. You might want to look at it. Some great questions. People had some great things to share. Let me just say this, guys, real quick as we wrap up. First of all, you guys have no idea how much of a pleasure and a privilege and an honor it is for us to show up and share. Babe, I think one of the challenges is, and somebody put it in the chat, is that they had absolutely no community in their first marriage, in their first relationship. And I think that's, to me, especially, and listen, if you grew up, and I'm going to just say this because it needs to be said, if you grew up in communities like ours, and I can talk about the black culture, because I'm black, there's this notion that says, don't let nobody in your business.
Right.
There's this mindset that's prevailing that says, what goes on in this house stays in this house.
And that's some crap.
And I promise you, I think that has created more emotionally unintelligent people than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did an awesome job. Awesome job. Dre said is awesome. Sheri is awesome. Rhea is awesome. I would definitely love to hear her perspective more. Well,
Thanks.
You know what, Dre? That's a good look because guess what? That means I can just not be here and I can get some rest. You can work. No, we certainly, I agree, Dre. That's one of the reasons why I'm glad that you suggested actually last week that I go on by myself, this week that you come on by yourself, and you actually asked me to come and jump on at the end here just to kind of wrap this up. Next week, guys, I want to start talking a little bit about love. We're going to be moving into February, and one of the things is that most people do not understand the difference between love and respect.
Right.
And they don't understand why men absolutely need to be respected. And when we don't feel respected, it's tough for us to give love. And when a woman doesn't feel loved, she hardly can give you respect. Does that make sense? And unfortunately, they both are critical for the relationship to work. We're going to be drilling down on that subject in our MAPS Relationship Academy in great detail, allowing you guys to share and to talk about it and to go through that process. But we'll talk a little bit about that on Breakfast with the Brookses. I'm going to go back to the community piece and then we're done. Or if you want to pick up and keep going, I don't know. But I think the Sheri people are shooting themselves in the foot when they allow that mindset of, I don't need anybody in my situation, because it doesn't, and you made a great point, it doesn't give you perspective.
Right. 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 And I think that that's the biggest thing I think that we're lacking is the perspective of other people. I think that when you stay in that bubble,
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, subscribing to that old adage, ain't nobody business, what goes on in this house stays in this house, that you limit yourself. Number one, you don't allow yourself the advantage of hearing another perspective because
Say
there
that
are
again.
benefits.
There are so many benefits.
Right. There are benefits to getting other people's perspectives.
Yeah. The right people, of course.
Right. Don't talk to idiots.
Yeah, we're not talking about you talking to idiots. Nobody wants to talk to idiots.
Right, but there's an advantage to that because it helps to broaden your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But also when you only have your own perspective, it's very narrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's very narrow because I can only see, like even now, I can only see, like as I'm speaking to you guys, I can't really read the chats at the same time and focus on you. And so the chats are going on, but I'm not really able to get the perspective of what you guys are saying because I'm trying to stay focused on you. I'm trying to keep my attention directly speaking to you because if I sit here and I'm looking at the chats, now it's like I'm not paying attention to you.
Right.
And so my perspective is very narrow.
Right.
And so in a relationship, it's the same thing. If I'm in a relationship with you, my focus is on you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not focusing on everything that's going on around us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not focusing on the external things that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just focused on this particular moment.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see how when you do A, it's going to cause A is going to lend to B, C, and D happening because I'm just stuck in A.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have somebody beside me, they can see.
Right.
Well, if we're talking, I accidentally bump into this table, this computer is going to fall off the table. They can catch it when it's falling, but I'm talking here, so I don't see that.
Right. And one of the things that we call that, guys, is giving people permission to speak into your blind spots. I want y'all to put that in the chat. Speak into your blind spots. I know that sounds really weird because everybody has mirrors around their vehicle that allows them to see into their blind spots.
But even
the beauty of community is that there are times, because even with mirrors, and I know where you're going, babe, you still don't see everything, right?
People can still get in your blind spot.
They can still sneak in and out of your blind spot, and you didn't catch that.
That's why when they teach you to drive, when they taught us to drive, you use your mirrors, but you still supposed to turn your head and
keep
look.
your head on a swivel.
You still supposed to look because there's always a chance that even using your mirrors, you might miss somebody.
And that's why, again, when you have community, people in the car with the permission to speak into your blind spots, it'll save you an accident.
Right.
It'll save you a divorce.
Right.
It'll save you from marrying the wrong individual. It'll save you years of heartache because now I'm not talking about a backseat driver.
Right.
That's the one that's where what goes on in this house stays in this house came from.
Right.
It came from the backseat driver who just running their mouth and they don't know what they talking about.
Right.
And quite frankly, they don't even have a license.
Right.
So that's your girlfriend who ain't never been married, that been talking you all up in your ear, or your guy who don't know what the ham sandwich he's talking about because he's never been there. He's never won anything, but he gonna teach you how to win. Bruh, give me a break. At this particular point, that's dangerous. However, when you have a person that you give permission to speak into your blind spot, it changes everything, guys. So we just want to encourage you that if you need community, if you need a group of people who will not judge you, they'll speak truth to you. They're absolutely going to speak truth, but it's not going to come off as judgmental. It's not, this is what you should have did. It is, let me share this particular perspective with you. It may challenge your perspective a little bit to look at that differently. The MAPS is the place to be. The MAPS Relationship Academy is amazing. We just celebrated 3 years in a row on our anniversary yesterday. Was it the day before yesterday?
Day before yesterday. MAPS Relationship Academy.
The MAPS Relationship Academy has turned 3 years old. So for all of you guys in the MAPS Relationship Academy, I want you to do me a favor and give yourselves a big round of applause because you guys have been crushing it.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, here's what I know. Y'all validate us. You know what I'm saying? We're validated by your growth. And I just think that's such an amazing thing. So I just want to say, Happy anniversary to the MAPS community. Happy 1 year anniversary to the
The
singles
singles.
that are in the MAPS
Yep.
community, because we started that group.
About a year
And we
ago.
did it on purpose when we started all this on our anniversary, because what we wanted to do is use our marriage. And here's what y'all really need to understand. Y'all hold us accountable.
Yes.
When we start going through tough times, the fact that we have to come to this camera on Saturday mornings together and be united for real. The fact that we have to show up in our groups Tuesday nights for the couples, Tuesday nights for the parents at 8:30, Thursday nights for the singles, right? Wednesday nights for the men, Mondays every other Saturday. Mondays and Saturdays for the ladies, whether you're a coupled lady or a single lady, one of those days apply to you. It is hard for us to get mad, stay mad, be wrong, stay out of sync, and you have the obligation to do that.
Right.
So I need y'all to understand the community works for us too.
Right.
So when we're 25 years in, MAPS will be 5 years in, or whatever it is. That's no, whatever the math is on that. Y'all understand. But every year we get older, so does the MAPS community. Right. That's the point I'm trying to make. So we did that on purpose, guys. Tiffany said, oh my God, yes, I'm seeing that with Team Childs. We got to keep pushing. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Teresa, we thank God for you too, sweetheart. Love y'all. Speaking of accountability, let me just put Teresa on blast. Couple things. Let me show y'all how MAPS works. And we're going to get out of here because we got to go get breakfast. I'm real breakfast with the Brookses. I'm starving. Guys, look. I was posting for Breakfast with the Brookses on Friday. Thursday night when we got into the hotel, we said we was going to shut it down. Sheri was like, we shutting this down. Y'all probably saw the video, right? The next morning, I took a picture of us waking up because we shut it down. And at this particular point, I'm saying we still got to do Breakfast with the Brookses. We had already agreed with that. And she said, well, go ahead and make sure you post some stuff because I don't want to miss that window. So she gave me permission. Well, I didn't tell nobody she gave me permission. That daggone Teresa Bryant was all up in my DM talking about, hey, coach, you better get off social media before you get in trouble.
Thanks for having my back, Teresa.
You get what I'm saying? So that's what accountability looks like. It's like, nah, coach, you ain't above the law.
Right.
We not doing that. You said you wasn't gonna be on social media, and because them jokers on social media, they heard me say it. Number one, and number two, they gonna remind me, and that's what accountability. And I literally said, I got permission on this one. Thank you very much, but I appreciate you being my friend, being no. I think I said you were coached well, and I appreciate you for holding me accountable. And that's what it absolutely looks like, guys. So shut it down. right, Dre. We're going to have a shut it down party. We need to start doing pajama parties for couples and show people how, you know what I'm saying, how to lock in, have a good time, and go to your little corner and do what you do and come back refreshed. Then I cleaned that one up real good, didn't I?
You cleaned that up.
Because the turtle was looking at me like, what in the world is this for me? Go get ready to say that. Listen, guys, I'm excited. Obviously,
Thank you,
Sheri,
guys,
you did a great job, baby. You did a great job. You did a great job. Thank you so much for having my back.
All right, guys. Well, as always, once again, if you are new to our channel, please subscribe. Please share this out, guys. Share it out. Share. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so that you can get notifications. And for those of you that are new, also, if you're interested in learning more about the MAPS Relationship Academy, please go to www.thecrcoach.com, schedule a free discovery session. And as always, we all need some help. Y'all have a great Saturday, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.